There we go. Good morning. I'm the Reverend Sasha Ostrom. I'm the minister here at the Morristown Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, and it is wonderful to be with all of you as we gather together for worship, for lifting up that which is of worth in this great common life we all share. And as we settle in for the hour on this first Sunday of the new year, let's pause to center our minds and our spirits. And we begin with words by Sylvia L. Howe. We bid you welcome on this first Sunday of the new year. Like Janus, we gather with part of us looking backward and part of us looking forward. We gather on the edges of a new year, saddened by our losses, cherishing our joys, aware of our failures, mindful of days gone by. We gather on the cusp of this new year, eager to begin anew, hopeful for what lies ahead, promising to make changes, anticipating tomorrows. We invite you to join in the celebration of life, knowing that life includes good and bad, endings and beginnings. We bid you welcome. So come, my friends, and let's worship together.
Good morning and Happy New Year. I'm Steve Runyon, one of the worship associates here at Morristown Unitarian. It is time now to kindle our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist tradition. Can I get a volunteer? Very good. I didn't even have to finish the sentence. All right, thank you. Our chalice lighting words today are by Judith L. Quarles. At this hour, in small towns and big cities, in single rooms and ornate sanctuaries, many of our sibling Unitarian Universalist congregations are also lighting a flaming chalice. As we light our chalice today, let us remember that we are part of a great community of faith. May this dancing flame inspire us to fill our lives with the Unitarian Universalist ideals of love, justice, and truth. And now, please stand as you're able for our affirmation by James Vila Blake. Please repeat each line after me so that even our youngest members who haven't yet learned to read can join in. Love is the spirit of this fellowship.
Love is the spirit of this fellowship.
And service is its law.
And service is its law.
This is our great covenant.
This is our great covenant.
To dwell together in peace.
To dwell together in peace.
To seek the truth in love.
To seek the truth in love.
And to help one another.
And to help one another.
Please join me now for our opening hymn, number 57 in the gray hymnal, All Beautiful, the March of Days.
Our story today, we have a slide for it. I don't know if you guys recognize, did I get it in time? There we go. This gentleman up here doing this arduous task. Does anyone know his name? Sisyphus. Sisyphus was a king. Some of you may know this story. He was a king back in the time of Greek myth and mythology and legend. And he irritated the gods a lot. He did a lot of things to kind of overcome the gods. The gods were selfish. They loved Greek gods were very into themselves and consuming power for themselves. And so he annoyed them quite a bit because he was very clever and smart. One time, Zeus, the king of the gods, captured this woman and hid her away. And it upset the entire kingdom. And the king found out where this woman was and told her father. And so the father was able to gather some friends, and they went and rescued this woman from Zeus's hold. One time he was trying to cheat death, and so he captured Hades, the god of the underworld, and chained him up, and no one was allowed to die. And this irritated Hades because he was chained up. Irritated Mercy's the god of war, because then no one died, and what's the point of war if no one dies, right? And so they were all mad at him. So they undid all that. Finally, Sisyphus dies, and he goes to Hades. It's his turn to be in the underworld. And instead of letting them pass through, Zeus and Hades and the other gods, they come up with this great punishment. And they say, you're going to push this boulder up a hill. And he goes, I'm a strong guy. I can do that. And so he starts pushing it up the hill, and right as he gets towards the top, they have enchanted this boulder, and it rolls back down. And they go, no, you got to keep rolling it back up there. And he goes, okay, I'll do it again. and again and again, and for all of eternity, he is stuck pushing this boulder up the hill because he annoyed these gods who were being selfish and mean and terrible to the people. So that's the story and the myth. Today we're going to talk about how we relate to Sisyphus. Maybe some of you guys can right now think of some times in your life where you feel like you're Sisyphus pushing a rock up a hill. I know I can. But we'll get into that during our sermon today. Keep it short for you. There you go.
Good morning again and welcome. Welcome especially to any newcomers, returning members of our community, and anyone who has joined us online today. If you're tuning in live on YouTube, please say hi in the chat. If you haven't already, we're delighted to have you with us. We're a community of many ages, but we all worship together. You can join us many ways on Sundays, including online, here in the sanctuary, or from one of the many rooms in our building where we live stream the service. In particular, I want to draw your attention to our family room for families with little ones, which is located out the doors and to the right. The family room is especially great if you need a space to talk, soothe a crying infant, or get the wiggles out. Our service is live streamed there, so you won't miss a thing. Kids of all ages are always welcome in all of our services, but we offer childcare as an additional option for families with small children ages 9 months to 5 years. Parents, if you find yourself in need of childcare during worship today, please bring your little one to room A in the Gateway Center. Again, welcome to everyone here with us today. We are glad you're here.
It's time now for our milestones and passages. So sometimes we come to the sacred place with a lot on our hearts. Maybe you got married. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe you have recovered from an illness, or perhaps you were going through a divorce. And children have joys and sorrows too, things that make you happy and sad. And whatever your age, you can share your joys and sorrows in our service by filling out our milestones and passages form before 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. That form can be filled out, found in our newsletter. And we also have some paper forms that are available as you walk in through the doors on your way into the sanctuary. This morning we have a few items that people have submitted, so I ask that you please respond to each of these by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." And if you're joining us online today, I invite you to participate in the chat. This morning, it is with sadness that I share that Morristown UU member and former president of the fellowship, George Hayes, passed away this weekend. As is our practice here, when our congregation has had a member who has died, we will now light a candle from the light of our chalice flame as a memorial flame to honor George's life. And this morning, we hold George's wife, Beverly, and Bevan-Yours' family and friends in our hearts during this time of grief. And we hold everybody who loved him in our hearts this morning. We hold you in our hearts. This morning, we also send healing thoughts and prayers to Marjorie Wormser's great-nephew, Henry, who was born at under 25 weeks on December 19th at 1 pound, 11 ounces, along with his 1 pound, 10 ounce twin sister, Carter, who lived less than a week. Henry still hovers around 2 pounds. His arm broke during labor and delivery, and he has required special corrective surgery. Henry is fighting valiantly along with his parents and grandparents. Marjorie thanks you for your healing thoughts and prayers to her family. We hold you in our hearts. Barbara Castellana Stasiak shares that Michael Cross had the flu and gave it to Lori for Christmas. Mike had to be hospitalized himself and treated for pneumonia and is now in a subacute rehab. Lori is slowly recovering her strength at home. We are wishing them both a smooth and fast recovery. We hold you in our hearts. Nicole Spaldo shares the sorrow for her family dog who crossed the Rainbow Bridge last week. We hold you in our hearts. Steve Runyon shares that one of his best friends experienced a type of heart attack that has a 1% survival rate and was in that 1%. And he sends thanks, and we all send thanks to healthcare providers everywhere. We hold you in our hearts. And this morning we have a request for positive visualization and support. 2 Muff Senior High School graduates are accompanying 2 immigrants to Dallas, Texas for their asylum hearings. Please focus your minds on a positive outcome for their residency status and their safe return home to New Jersey. And any knowledge or resources while they are in Dallas is greatly appreciated. Thank you. We hold you in our hearts. And now, because our personal joys and sorrows are always really intertwined with those in our nation and our world, this morning I also share a special statement from our Unitarian Universalist Association about our U.S. presidential administration's actions in Venezuela yesterday. They write, the Unitarian Universalist Association condemns the Trump administration's military strikes overnight against the country of Venezuela, done with the express purpose of capturing its president, Nicolas Maduro, and seizing control of the country in violation of international laws. These actions were taken after months of U.S. military harassment resulting in the deaths of Venezuelan citizens and undertaken without involvement of Congress, according to published reports. As people of faith and conscience, it is essential to speak out now as this situation quickly escalates, creating dangers across the hemisphere. Unitarian Universalists believe that these actions violate our shared religious values, particularly of interdependence and pluralism, and principles which UUs affirm for themselves and for our society. In a statement of conscience passed in 2010, Creating Peace, UUs proclaimed that all people share a moral responsibility to create peace. That statement also said that UUs repudiate aggressive and preventative wars, the disproportionate use of force, covert wars, and targeting that includes a high risk to civilians, and called for peacemaking efforts at all levels of human interaction. As the current administration continues to consolidate power, violate domestic and international law, and trample the human rights of people both in the United States and abroad, we pray for the safety of all who are in harm's way. The people of Venezuela have the right, as all people do, to safety and self-determination. We urge our elected leaders and the courts to exercise definitive moral leadership to swiftly curtail these abuses of power and prevent this administration from causing further loss of life and violations of international law. And so this morning, we hold in our hearts all of those who are in the path of harm and all who are afraid of what yesterday's actions might mean in the coming weeks and months for our nation and for the world. We hold you in our hearts. And let's take a moment now for the prayers and meditations in our hearts, all of those spoken as well as those that remain unspoken. This is time to close your eyes. Let yourself settle into your chair. Feel your breath moving in and out of your body. Hear the breaths of the people around you, this community that holds you. Feel the spirit of life holding all of us in this still moment. And we will now take a moment of silence. Amen, and blessed be. Now let's go ahead and please remain seated as we sing number 199, Precious Lord, Take My Hand.
Our reading this morning is by Melissa Jeter, who is a candidate for Unitarian Universalist ministry and the ministerial intern at the Diverse and Revolutionary Unitarian Universalist Multicultural Ministries, also known as DRUM, and much easier to say, which is Unitarian Universalist's oldest and largest collective for people of color. She begins with a quote from the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 1. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us rid ourselves of every burden and sin that clings to us and persevere in running the race that lies before us. She writes, "New year, new me, right? Maybe, but I just want to sit on the couch. The days are longer and my dog wants to go out. She monitors my every move for a sign that a walk is coming, but after feeding her, I just want a nap. Also, I was going to read another book about racism. I was losing hope for anything to change. Perhaps I'm like Sisyphus, pushing the rock up the hill just to let it fall back and start again. The last time I chose the couch, I thought, during slavery, people worked 15 to 18 hours a day. Anytime people say that black folks in America are lazy, I consider it a slur. That's when my grandfather came to mind. John Frank was a part of the Great Migration. He migrated from the Carolinas to Ohio. The plantation that bears our last name is still there. My grandfather carried the last name of those who came to Virginia via England and to England from France, French Huguenots. The name is French for to throw away. Once he came to Ohio, my grandfather worked in steel mills while owning his own business repairing houses. As a kid, I didn't see him much. When I did see him, he'd usually be working on his truck, and it was a treat to see him. He was still tall, though his knees were bad. I stopped working out intensely when my own knees felt it was going badly, and I had intended for many years to start to intensify working out. This year, I really need it, so I can recharge my brain. When I'm in my body instead of my mind, I ruminate less on all the things that I cannot control and did not cause. My grandfather was a boxer. Kickboxing workouts were my favorites. So this month, I've started to intensify my morning routines to work out. I'm sure that thinking about my grandfather and his life inspired me. I will not think my way out of or into this life. Inspired by his memory, though, I can at least get off the couch and, like Sisyphus, push that rock. I'll be stronger and more helpful for the work of it. I anchor this new year in the cloud of witnesses that are a vital force in my life. Let us be grateful for the vital force that wakes us and moves us. Let us be grateful for the inspirational foundations upon which we stand. Let us never forget the mighty cloud of witnesses who are revealed in our being. Now is the time in our service when we pause to offer our gifts of financial support to this congregation. Your donations make all that we do here together possible and also help make our wider community a better place. That's because each Sunday we give at least half of the money we collect to an organization that is doing good work to advance our Unitarian Universalist values in a world that needs them now more than ever. Today's offering will be split 50-50 with Unrest, New Jersey, creating barrier-free solutions to homelessness, hunger, and poverty in Morris County. You may give in our collection plate or by following the instructions printed in your order of service and shown on the screen. Thank you in advance for your generosity.
So I got a bit distracted this week while I was looking for hymns. So we have some truly beautiful hymns in our Unitarian Universalist tradition, not just the music itself, although yes, that is often beautiful too, but also the visions of a better world that those hymns so often lift up. Take Let Freedom Span Both East and West, for example, with its final verse. East and West will meet and share, and South shall build with North one human commonwealth of good throughout the whole wide earth. Or take the first line of Soon the Day Will Arrive. We will be together, and no more will we live in fear, and the children will smile without wondering whether on that day thunderclouds will appear. And other hymns invite us to imagine a world where we will hear the war drum throb, no longer see the battle flags all furled in the Parliament of Freedom, Federation of the World. A world with towns and woodlands beautiful from sea to sea, with a village fair, laughing children playing there, and our elders can be found here beside us, safe and sound. A world where we all serve one another, and our heaven has begun, where like oaks of righteousness stand her people, and friends by shame are undefiled. And so it's no wonder that one of my favorite lyrics from our hymns is, I hear the real though far off hymn that hails a new creation. Have you ever dreamed of a place where you could just be? A place where you feel safe, happy, and totally yourself? Imagine it as a home at the top of a big hill. Maybe it's a cabin in the woods, a cottage in a village, or an apartment in a big city surrounded by friendly neighbors. And wherever that is, that place on the top of the hill, you feel at ease. Your home is comfortable. You know your neighbors, and they know you. No one is unkind or afraid, and everyone helps each other. Life is good. The world is beautiful and peaceful. Everything is peaceful up there on the hill. And we long for things like this because we as human beings have an innate desire for freedom and for flourishing. We want to be able to truly relax, to be able to let our guard down and live in real safety and comfort. We want to be able to be fully ourselves and enjoy the good things that life has to offer. We want our lives and our world to align with our values, and for living lives in alignment with our values to not be a daily struggle. And we often want those things for everyone else too, for everyone to live free and safe and happy. And this time of the year, the new year, can stir up those feelings even more. There's something about its freshness that feels full of possibility. And even if the news is worrisome, as it so often is right now, we may still feel like we are standing at the start of a wide open path where a sign is pointing up the hill saying, this is where you can go live your life, the life you long for. This is the way to help create the better world that you most dream of. Now, a few days ago, some of us made New Year's resolutions. Maybe you made a commitment, complete with SMART goals. Some of you know what those are. Maybe you promised to be kinder to your little brother, to call your parents more, or to read more books. Or maybe you chose a focused word that will guide your approach to this year, a word maybe like peace or joy. And whatever your resolution, it's usually something that reflects a hope to make a change that helps us to live more fully or in deeper alignment with our values. But here's an awkward truth. So I recently read a Forbes article about New Year's resolutions, and the news is not great, folks. So they looked at how well we actually keep our New Year's resolutions. Turns out about 25% of us at most keep our resolutions for even a month. Some studies say it's actually more like 8%. By 4 months, the overwhelming majority of us have abandoned our resolutions, and only a tiny sliver, about 1 in 100, managed to last the entire year. So it turns out wanting to do something doesn't actually make doing it very easy, because there are obstacles. That path up the hill to our heart's desire isn't free and clear. There is a huge boulder blocking the way, the one kind of like Sisyphus faced in our story earlier. In fact, it's not just in our way. That boulder is actually rolling down the hill toward us. And it doesn't just stop us from moving uphill towards a life that we long for. It also is coming right at us. And if we are not careful, it could crush us or others in our path. And with that cheerful thought, we will return to this sermon in a moment. But first, let's go ahead and pause and sing. Our song is number 304, A Fierce Unrest. And we're going to sing just the first verse for now. And Victoria's going to teach it to us.
Yes, so this is a little new, I believe. So we're going to learn how this one goes. I'm going to sing first, and then have you repeat after me. So, a fierce unrest sees at the core. Everyone. A fierce unrest sees at the core of all existing things, of all existing things. It was the eager wish to soar. It was the eager wish to soar that gave the gods their wings, that gave the gods their wings. There throbs through all the worlds, there throbs through all the worlds, that are this heartbeat, hard and strong. Unshaken systems star, unshaken systems star by star awake and glow in song, by star awake and glow in song. Good. Now let's try that all together. 1, 2.
All right, so now the boulder I'm talking about isn't made of, stone. It is made of all of the things that make life harder, all of the things that make it hard for us to live free and fulfilling lives in a loving, just, and sustainable world. There's a game that I used to watch my cousin play. It's called Katamari. And in it, there's this little sticky ball that rolls around collecting stuff. And at first, it starts off super small, like a lint roller picking up cat hair and bits of thread. But as it rolls, it keeps getting bigger and bigger. And soon Legos and pennies join its mass, then books and lunchboxes, then bicycles and lawn furniture, then cars and boats and lighthouses, until it's this monster ball of stuff steamrolling whole neighborhoods and land masses and the sun, moon, and stars. So I think of the boulder in our path as kind of like that, this giant tangled mass of all of the obstacles that are between us, the lives we want to live, and the world that we want to live in. And these are life-denying things that not only block our way, but also, if we're not careful, threaten to crush us and others, or at least our spirits. Instead of lunchboxes and lawn furniture, that boulder might hold things like, inner stuff like shame, fear, perfectionism. It might hold things like ideas, like the belief that wanting better lives or a better world is somehow entitlement, or that empathizing with others is weakness. It might be behaviors like people-pleasing, or it might be barriers like resource scarcity, or it might be interpersonal dynamics like exploitative relationships, toxic workplaces, or structural problems like systemic oppression. That's a lot, and that's also only naming a small number of things that can be in there. But of course, we're not each going to face all of those. We each have our own personal barriers that we face. And as you embark upon your new year, perhaps you were kind of looking ahead and seeing some barriers that maybe stand between you and some of the things that you long for. And this time of the year, many of us make resolutions to change our habits or to improve ourselves. But I invite us this year to think about resolutions a little bit differently, not as the work of self-improvement, but as the work of liberation. And not just liberation for ourselves, but liberation for all of us, for collective liberation. What if instead of letting barriers block our resolutions, we addressed those barriers using our resolutions? What if we resolved to work on freeing ourselves and each other all together? Because here's the thing, no one gets up that hill alone. It is going to take all of us to get free of that boulder, all of us to push it out of the way. And there's a ton that we as human beings have to deal with as individuals, as a society, and as a species. Right now we're facing things like authoritarianism, the deliberate starvation of some of our international neighbors, racism, and other forms of oppression. And no matter the other isms, materialism, militarism, nepotism, individualism, so many isms. And that's just the more external stuff. We've also got plenty within us to have to deal with as well. And of course, all those systems also have a way of getting in us. So no wonder that we long for a better world and better lives, but haven't actually reached them yet, because that boulder that's in our way is huge. Now, the obstacles may sometimes feel too big for us to handle. We might feel weak, powerless in comparison. Unlike Sisyphus, who was like, yeah, I got this. We might feel like we're too small. It may feel like the boulder is too heavy to stop, let alone push uphill. We may want even to just surrender and let it roll over us, to not resist. Maybe even to give in to numbness or despair, or keep our heads down and hope that when it rolls over us, it maybe won't hurt too badly. Or we might stay silent and obedient, or even find ourselves becoming complicit, joining that big Katamari ball and becoming one of the very obstacles in other people's way of their own well-being and their full flourishing. Or we might instead resist, right? And we'll jump into that a little bit more here soon, but let's go ahead and pause again and sing before we do. And we're going to sing just our second verse this time. And go ahead and remain seated. So New Year's resolutions can be a kind of resistance. If we let them, they can be declarations that we will not be shaped by the forces that are in our lives and world that threaten, harm, diminish, and destroy life. Our resolutions can be solemn or joyful, promises to keep pushing toward that which could be, that which is longing to be, that needs to come into being despite the forces that would deny it. And the good news is this, that these forces can be overcome. People and communities do find ways to not just survive, but thrive, even in the most life-denying of circumstances. And they do it by resisting spiritually, mentally, emotionally, socially, and politically. And when we resist something, we push back against it. But there are different ways to push back. Some of those ways are better, more effective, and others are perhaps a little less effective. For example, imagine that we are right there in the path of that boulder. It's rolling down the hill toward us. And so we turn to the person next to us and we talk about it. Maybe we complain, we shake our fists, and we say, man, that boulder is awful. How dare it roll down the hill toward us where we are standing? Now, we might feel in this moment like we are resisting, but yelling doesn't stop it. It's still barreling down the hill straight at us. Or maybe instead we sit down and we analyze the boulder. We debate, this boulder weighs 400 pounds and is made of solid granite. Oh, no, it's made of sandstone. And meanwhile, it just keeps rolling our way unchallenged as we spend our time analyzing and debating. We call this sometimes paralysis by analysis. Then there's a third option, which is just, to walk away and find another path. And voila, boulder, no longer a problem. But on the other path, the path we just left, the boulder is still rolling, and it might hurt someone else, someone who doesn't have the option we do to get out of the way. So these three different approaches might feel satisfying. They may even help us to resist in mental, emotional, or physical levels. So I don't want to completely dismiss them. After all, it's worthwhile to know what we're facing. That helps us to more effectively address it. And when we're able to opt out of harmful systems, that's a valuable thing for us to do because it withdraws our consent and it makes us less complicit in the harm that they cause. And heaven knows that it can be cathartic to vent our feelings sometimes. Sometimes you just need to let out a primal scream or shriek into a pillow or go to a protest. So I'm not saying that these three approaches are wrong or valueless, but alone they are not enough because they don't stop that boulder. We have to actually take action to resist barriers to our full flourishing, or those barriers remain in place. Talking, analysis, and avoidance alone don't stop our metaphorical boulder. So here, then, is a better idea, that all of us work together to stop it. In order to get free, we roll up our sleeves and we put our backs into resisting that boulder. To all get up that hill together, we resist what stands in our way. And we do it not alone, but in community. Because most of the challenges that are worth tackling are big enough that they are easier to face with friends. In fact, some of them are just too big for any of us to take on alone. Our community is our strength. Now, resistance always involves two opposing forces, something that is pushing one way and something that is pushing or pulling back a different way. Think of it like strength training. There's a reason that strength training is also called resistance training. When I go, sometimes unwillingly, to the leg extension machine, it is way harder to lift my legs, to straighten them, than it would be without the weights there. The weights push down on my shins, and I have to resist that downward push to slowly straighten my legs. And similar things happen when we practice resistance in pursuit not of a stronger body, but of a better life and world. If we resist too little, if we don't try at all, or if we don't take on big enough challenges, then there is no growth. Our challenges remain in place, and we don't grow as much as we could, and neither do our movements for social change. So So then how do we resist effectively enough to stop the boulder's descent or even to roll that thing uphill? So there are two options. So first, we can gain enough strength, enough spiritual muscle, and enough power as a movement to win a contest of strength against the boulder. And we do this actually the same way that the boulders in our society do this, which is by organizing, because power in a political context, power in movement work is simply organized people plus organized money. But it also helps, especially when organizing people, to have spiritual power. And spiritual power requires us to build our spiritual muscles, qualities of heart, mind, and spirit that help us to overcome or to even overcome challenges. And we do that by going to the spiritual gym. You're all in the spiritual gym right now when we come into community together to examine our highest values and figure out ways to live them in the world. And you also go to our spiritual gym when you, say, engage in a spiritual practice. And then there's option number 2, which is really kind of a variation of option 1, a refinement of it. We can join together in solidarity and use all of the tools, many, many different tools in our toolbox. We get out our chisels and our hammers and our ropes and our crowbars, and we deal with that boulder in a multi-pronged way. Some of us raise money. Some of us recruit others. Some analyze the problem because, yes, we actually do need that, only now the analysis is part of the solution. A few people maybe come to the negotiating table while others offer trainings or bring attention to the issue at a protest. And meanwhile, another group might be busy creating alternate or healing spaces where people can rest, celebrate, or gain strength before returning to the work, or maybe even just experience what the better world at the top of that hill might be like. So my friends, imagine a whole community surrounding the boulder, some using tools to stop it from rolling downhill, others chipping away at it so that it'll be a little bit lighter, while their friends help pull it up with the ropes. Many hands and ropes and chisels and crowbars make lighter work. So may we each discover our own tools. May we each cultivate and contribute our strength. And may we each resist what is life-giving, what life-denying, and may we move together into a new year, a more full life, and a more just and kind world. Amen. Blessed be. Let's go ahead and rise and body your spirit and sing the final verse of our song together.
Before we close, we have our Minutes for Ministries. This is when we share brief updates about our congregation's activities to help us stay engaged in our community beyond the Sunday service. This morning, I'd like to draw your attention to the following announcements. Any newcomers with us today are invited to fill out a welcome card to help you get connected with us. You can also talk to our welcome ambassador, who would love to meet you and answer any questions. Look for the sunny gold sash. If you have questions about religious education, please talk to our religious education ambassador, who is wearing a green sash. And anyone needing a caring presence this morning will find a compassionate listening ear with one of our lay pastoral care associates. You'll recognize them by their sky blue sashes. If today's sash wearers are in here right now, Please stand or wave so we can see you. Yep. Okay. We have several great activities for you every week. This week, please join us on Wednesday for the mindfulness meditation, on Thursday for women's spirituality group, children's choir, and adult choir, on Saturday for the gathering of men, and next Sunday for mindfulness meditation or our newcomer welcome gathering. Full details about these and many other activities can be found on the back of your order of service, our weekly e-newsletter, or on our website at muuf.org. And now I open the mic to announcements from our ministry teams and committees. Let's have those giving announcements of 1 minute or less go first. And if time permits afterwards, we'll open our remaining time to those with longer announcements.
So that's why I got to the front of the line. Anyway, I know everybody's been dying for this day to come. Today is the day that at 6 p.m. we'll have our Zoom meeting on biochemistry literacy for kids, and everyone is invited, not just kids. I have pretty handouts for the coffee hour. I have one of the larger QR codes you'll see to get access to the Zoom meeting by QR code. And there's also the meeting number and the passcode at the bottom in case you want to just jot that down. One more thing I have, well, two more things. I have a sign-in thing. If you want me to send you an email with the Zoom link, you can get it that way. And then finally, I have the delightful Mod kit for structuring molecules, which was made specially for this course, for Daniel Fried's course, in order to model hydrogen bonding. So I hope to see everyone on that call at 6 p.m. I know you can send excuses to me individually by email as well if you choose not to come.
Hi, I'm Sandra Persichetti, and I serve as the secretary to the Endowment Committee. And I'm here to announce that we have $12,329 available this year for grants from the Endowment Committee. In addition to Tom Moran's program, we encourage you to think about other programs, not just physical improvements to our building. And some of, if you belong to religious education group, think about child or adult education programs. If you belong to GEM, think about environmental programs, any community engagement programs regarding social justice would be welcome. Sunday services, if we need supplies for Sunday services, think about that. And of course, always we need improvements to our building and additions to furniture and equipment. But we'd like you to think outside the box. Carolyn Schwartz and Carolyn will be wearing two hats at coffee hour, and will be a coffee hour with copies of the application. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to see either of us. The grant application's deadline is February 28th. Thank you.
I'm Bob Scott, and I'm here on behalf of the team that's working hard to put together the 70th anniversary celebration on January 31st, which is going to be from 2 to 5, and a tea party. Details to follow. I wanted to let you know, if you saw pictures in the Great Hall, those are 51 of the 52 founders, and I used the definition the founders used, anybody that joined before February 1956. Actually, we're missing one because when I got the picture back, I'd cut his head off before sending it to Walgreens. But since his family cut ties with him after he was convicted of bigamy, I don't think they would have minded. And you will see that there's multiple pictures of some people. It's because this was a young group, and I didn't want to just have pictures of old people. I have found to a great degree as many pictures of the founders as young people too. So take a look. We have a table. I noticed we have a QR code for setting up tickets. Do we have any actual tickets? Okay, so please help us sign up. Let us know you're coming. We look forward to it. And any ideas you have for what we should be doing, and of course, any help you can give us are greatly appreciated.
Good morning. I'm Franklin Heller, part of the social justice team, and wanted to share some Boulder building activities that are going on. So one is the Morristown Sprint, which many people have dedicated time and money. Spent part of this weekend preparing 20 meals for 21 people, 4 days, 84 meals, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And you have an opportunity at coffee hour, social hour, to draw. We have bags that the food's going to go into, so to put positive messages on those bags. So the fellowship is, again, doing some Boulder building, and it's good to see it happen in our new kitchen. The other thing is that the People's Agenda and the Immigrant Trust Act it's coming to a head. Tomorrow there's a rally in Trenton. Today we will have a table in social hour where we can tell you of how you can support pushing some of this year-end legislation through. So again, there'll be a big UU Faith Action presence tomorrow. I think Charles is going to be testifying in behalf of it, and you can fill out a slip in support of his testimony. So thank you. Look forward to working with you, Boulder Building, this year.
Hello, I am Charlotte Walwork, and I'm here to tell you about the Middle School Book Club. Book Club is for grades 6th through 9th. This month we are reading The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Our discussion will be on January 22nd from 7 to 8 p.m. Thank you.
Happy New Year, everyone. My name is Brooke Donaldson, and wow, we have a lot of stuff happening in our community, which is very exciting. Today, right after social hour, part of the service auction, I will be taking folks through a reflective process of called the Yearly Compass, or the Year Compass, and it's part of reflecting on your last year and being intentional about your next year. It's going to take about 90 minutes to work through. I did stop at Swiss Chalet for donuts. The donation to join, we have extra spots. The donation to join is $20. However, if you are a newcomer or if you've never attended a service auction event, please feel free just to show up, and we're going to make sure that you get to work on this with us, with our community. So thank you, and we will be meeting again at like 11:30 in the classroom in Chew Hall down the hallway.
Good morning. Oops. Good morning. And Brooke, if I show up, do I have to pay? Oh, never mind. Never mind. I'm following Brooke's announcement. I'm following Brooke's announcement because I had planned a Rummikub today at 11:30, but there's no way I am getting in the way of Brooke Donaldson. So there won't be Rummikub today, but I'm working tirelessly to find a time where it doesn't conflict with something else. And if you're interested, it's Rummikub, read his rules. Okay, so you're all invited. Thank you.
All right, it's time now to bring our time of worship to a close. And as we go out into our daily lives, I leave you with the words of Beth Monholland. In this new year, may we leave behind the weight of unfulfilled resolutions, unrealized dreams, and of unrealistic expectations. May we unpack the heavy weight of stories that tell us we are unworthy and unlovable. May we remember that we each carry inside of us a spark of the divine. In this new year, may we carry kindness, gentleness, and hope that holds us even through the hardest days and the most daunting risks. May we carry the weight of memory that reminds us of who we are, and the weight of spirit that reminds us of who we are still becoming. May we carry the seed of knowledge that teaches us that improvement and growth aren't linear and individualistic, but are cyclical and communal. May we carry the wisdom to seek rest and connection, lean into mutual care. May we carry the certain belief that when we have patterns of thinking and behaving that harm ourselves and others, we can seek resources that will help us move toward healing. May we carry the knowledge that happiness and success take many shapes, and one of those shapes is purpose. May we carry purpose lightly, trusting that it changes and evolves and surprises us. May we carry curiosity, wonder, and the ability to be surprised. This year, may we carry space for all of our flaws, all of our longings, and all of our love, remembering that the truly daring adventure of life is not to be better, best, but to show up wholly, authentically, lovingly as ourselves. May we carry these prayers and carry each other into the new year. Amen. Blessed be, and go in peace.